Okay, first we're going to have a look at the RM 1180. May or may not know, RM are actually formed in marine plywood and then covered in composite. So it's an outer layer, making them light, stiff, and very, very fast. There's a YouTuber, you may or may not know him, Patrick Lenny. I'll leave a link to his channel below. Solo Sailor. He has an RM and he's had a lot of adventures. So we're going to start at the transom. As you can see lower down, you have your life raft access. It also has a lifting panel here in case you need to lift it. There is no bathing platforms with the RM, and you can see you have a swim ladder centrally there. Composite wheels. We'll step aboard at the moment. Both port and starboard. You have a lazarette. Open those up in a second, but while we're here, we'll have a look at the helms very, very quickly. They're outboard. They are pedestals, but outboard, and you have direct steering. So you imagine a twin rudder. So there's an emergency access to your rudders, both port and starboard. So your rudders are pretty much basically right below your helm. Stepping on, these are really basic. They're performance cruisers, excellent boats. B&G chart plotter. If you have a look, there is a grab handle all the way round. I'll quickly go over to the starboard before we open one of the lazarettes. Non-slip surface throughout, and you will note on each helm you have these sections so that if you're on the heel, you know, you have a steady platform and grip for your feet. Don't go away, let me just take a moment if that's okay. 95% of our viewers or returning viewers aren't actually subscribers to our channel. You obviously like what we do, some of the videos that we do, but if you could actually just take the time, it takes a few seconds, and consider hitting that subscribe button. It actually helps our channel enormously. The more subscribers we get, obviously the more views we get, but it allows us more opportunities with boat manufacturers to have a look at their boats, do test sailing and product sailing, so to then bring you guys more content of what you actually want. So please consider hitting that subscribe button. To all our subscribers that have been with us sort of through the journey from the beginning, thank you very much for sticking with us. The channel will be changing. We've got some big boats coming up soon, and it's all thanks to you guys, so thank you very much. Back on with the tour. Volvo Penta, there's your on-off electric and obviously throttle controls. This boat is actually fitted with a bow thruster, your B&G autopilot, and most, like Patrick had for his RM, normally have a remote control, so single-handed these boats are well set up for it. And again, a B&G chart plotter. Let's pop that down here. And here is your manual bilge pump. Obviously they're electric bilge pumps. We'll see. So either side, both port and starboard, you have a large lazarette for storage, and there's a lot of stuff in here at the moment. Your emergency tiller handle, electrics, and somewhere, move some of this out of the way, you might be able to see your cable for your steering, and this is obviously where it comes down from the helm. So there's your connection cable, and your helm is right here. So really good feel, very strong. A preference for me, you have a main sheet traveller that almost runs the whole beam of the boat. Your controls for moving it left and right, there you go, you got a little butterfly there, so you can see manage. So it doesn't matter what helm you are on, you can adjust your traveller. I'm going to do a tour around the outside, then we'll get into the winches. One step up, really nice. There is non-slip everywhere on the coamings. Not a very high tow rail, but this is a sports or a performance cruiser. You have up on the spray hood, so there's a nice big spray hood. There are grab handles up here and then just down, lower down. The cabin top in itself, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but the cabin top is actually quite high up. It's nicely angled. Inboard, outboard shrouds. So as you can see, have your vang, boom. The boom is going to go up onto the cabin top, coach roof, whatever you want to call it. I'll give you a look round. So we've got our lazy bag, lazy jacks. But as you can see to me, with the height of the boom and the bag, if you have to come up and deal with the sails on your own, it's not too high. This one's fitted with carbon mast and carbon boom, and obviously all your sheets run through deck management system, and then all the way back. You'll have a look when we get in the cockpit to a huge bank of clutches either side. There are some very clever bits and pieces. I like friction rings, and this one's set up on Dyneema. I'm going to have to go out with somebody to be able to actually explain this really well for you under sail. But if you have a code or a large Genoa, you can alleviate the need for Genoa tracks if you're single-handed, get a lot more control, and basically your sheets can run through your friction ring, and then you can then adjust through your management systems. It'd be a lot easier to show you actually out sailing on the boat. As you can see, the lines for your furlers are a little bit forward, but once again you've got to remember that this is a sports or a performance cruiser. Huge windows for your saloon, and you'll see how much light they're able to let in when we actually get inside. One forward hatch, anchor chain storage and windlass, but speed roller. There's actually a really good video with Pip Hare. I can't remember what boat she's sailing, but they have the same system for setting up furlers on her boat. So you can basically pull your furler along if you're putting out a Jenica, Cody, Spinnaker, and so on, and do everything from the helm, because all your adjustments, there you go, you got a soft, all your adjustments then run back. This is basically set up for single-handed. I come down the port side quickly, adjustable backstays. So you imagine you have your furlers set up, so you're running a code D, code 0, something like that. Your sheets and adjustment lines can then come through, and then through a clutch, or you can set up a series of blocks aft. Adjustable backstays, and they're redoing their flags, so It's always nice to have a boat show hero. Up he goes. As you can hear, electric winches. So you have a primary Lumar 55 self-tailing electric winch and a secondary Lumar electric 50 self-tailing winch here. B&G repeater and an autopilot here. And just coming forward, you can see, okay, these are all in French, which doesn't help for you guys. And some nice bins for your tail ends, either side of the companionway. Cockpit table with handhold all the way round. Give you seating for sort of 4 to 6. In the cockpit, just before we step through the companionway, is a really handy storage area for your boards, for your washboards. It's nice that they've done something like that for you, so you haven't got them sliding off a bed somewhere. Right, obviously there's your companionway hatch. Going to come down, you'll notice both port and starboard there are handholds, and your main light switch is just tucked up underneath here. 3 easy steps down, and they're very wide, which is nice. This hull is really well chimed. It's very, very beamy boat. And while I'm stood here, we're actually going to deal with the port aft cabin. So you have a large double, which is quite cosy, and you can see basically the sides of the hull. They've used as much of the volume as possible, kept things as light as possible. Some nice privacy blinds, and obviously you have storage. Either side of the bed you have a mains plug, reading light with USB charger, and I wonder, because last year they didn't have it and they still don't. Here's red light. Oh, that's quite nice. Heater controls and obviously light switch, and they've got some nice LED lights too. Vented cabinets, small hanging locker, and there's your gas shut-off valve. Plenty of space in there really. And then just over centrally you have access to mechanics department, which your fire port there. Soundproofing is pretty good, and as you can see it's a Volvo Penta D250. Access isn't too bad. There's your saltwater strainer and sail drive just down there, so checking oil. There's access to the other side too. Checking your oil and stuff isn't too much of an issue. Coming out we have a U-shaped galley, 2 burner gimbaled stove with a nice pull-out drawer underneath. It makes a change than having a cupboard, so you don't have to worry about all your pans falling out, and a dual fridge or fridge freezer, stainless steel. These are pretty much coming as standard now on most boats, which is nice. Black Corian worktop with some pretty good fiddles on them, and you have a top loading storage area up here. I think there's an option to have this as a cool box if you wish. Single large composite sink, which is very practical. Salt water, hot and cold fresh water, small splashback, which is not bad, and a top loading bin area, which is very, very practical. There's your salt water pump there, and plenty of cupboard storage. If it was me, I would take the option for a cool box up there. There is ventilation. It's not directly over the stove, but it's close enough if you're cooking. And obviously you have plenty. I know everybody's into wood and stuff like that, and it's nice to see the timber, but I quite like the white cupboards. It helps the boat be a lot airier. Stood in the galley, so you know, this is my view out of the saloon windows, and those are those two really big windows we saw up above. So plenty of light and a good view while you're in here. I'm going to come over, do the heads in a minute. On this one, the starboard cabin is set up with a single, can be a double if you wish. I think the single pilot berth is very, very good for solo sailing, and you have a bunk or storage area, whatever you want up here. I think it's pretty good. There is ventilation aft, and you do have a port light window over there. As you can see, this is being used for sail storage, toy storage, and everything else. Wish I had a light to shine in there. Let me get my mobile. There you go. So, diesel tank, engine access, starter battery, dual fuel scrubbers. It's easy access to alternator and filters. Okay, heads. Just coming in, it is a wet heads. There are different options, so we'll see if we can find those and put them up on the video. There's plenty, you have to take my word for it. You can see in the mirror, there's plenty of head height. You have a opening hatch in the port light, and just behind me is a Jabsco freshwater flush. Storage. There's another storage locker there, and obviously underneath the sink you have full access to bilge plus storage all underneath. Coming forward into the saloon, I'll give you a pan out. There we go, a bit slower. And to my right you have the dedicated nav station. Nice little storage area here. Obviously Fusion stereo, B&G VHF, and then obviously your switches, lights, autopilot, pretty much self-explanatory. Your electric gizmo for checking your batteries, fuel levels, water level, and so on, and your digital multi-control. There is a handy nav light here, which gives you red light or white light, depending on what you want. You do have access if you want to put a monitor here, or a large chart plotter. This one's actually set up for a PC monitor and Wi-Fi. Mains plug, and plenty of room for paperwork and a few charts. Pretty cool. Starboard side, you have a long bench sofa. I don't know if I can actually get under here, and actually underneath the nav seat there is some more storage. There is storage under your chairs and a large port light window. I actually quite like these older style blinds. I think they're pretty cool, something different. Bit of woodwork on a boat that obviously doesn't have much. And then over on this side you have a very large U-shaped settee and table. This is a fixed top table. You have your mast compression post in the middle, but there is storage underneath the seats. You can see your eyes there for lee cloths, and there is the obligatory drink storage. Wouldn't be a French boat without it, in the middle of the table. Right, to get into the forward cabin there is a step down, but you have a standard double bed, fixed bed, which is quite nice. Port light window, plenty of storage, obviously your reading lights forward, and you can see your chain plate there for your forward rigging. A very large hanging locker to port, vented, which is nice, keeps the condensation and the mould down, and storage either side of the bed for loose bits and pieces, and you have a drop tray in there. As far as I'm told, you can actually have USB charging points put in there, which would be really handy for your phone or iPad. Mains plug. It's another one of these little cupboards down here, and behind the door another hanging locker, and there you have your aircon or heater blower there. I like RM. If you want to go faster but a little less comfortable than a production boat, RM could be a smart choice for you. Now I'm going to sit at the nav desk. Let me know what you think about this boat in the comments below. It's a very light boat. Hopefully, actually in the spring, a friend of ours, he's actually works for Neil, but he has an RM, so he keeps promising he's going to take us out. He's a solo sailor, he's a racer, so his boat is well fixed up, so hopefully we can actually get a really good overview of like the systems I was showing you earlier up on deck. Maybe some videos on, you know, how it actually works for a solo sailor and how you can be more productive with your boat and sail management systems. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers and all the new subscribers. Thanks again.